Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden. And today we're going to be doing a number of things. We're going to be planting out some zinnia seedlings for hopefully one more harvest of zinnias before our first frost. We're going to be harvesting some eggplant and some peppers. And then we are going to be pre-sprouting my ranunculus for fall planting. Okay, so early this morning we had a massive rainstorm come through. We had lots of rain, which was glorious. You can see everything is just so incredibly happy. Look at all these loofahs hanging down in here. So cool. The garden feels pretty good. It's only in the mid 80s right now. It is going to get hotter as the day goes on. But I want to really come over and do a few things. And we're going to start on a bed over in the back corner. Okay, this is one of my raised beds over here. This raised bed is from Amazon. I've had it for several years, still holding together, looks really, really good. I have planted multiple things in here this season. It had celosia earlier, it's had sunflowers, it had ranunculus at the beginning from the fall into the early spring. And not too long ago, I planted a bunch of sunflower seeds in here and all of them got eaten up by something. I'm guessing it's grasshoppers. But I did get a bunch of volunteer celosia coming up and I know y'all are gonna be like, what are you doing? I am pulling out all the celosia that is currently in here. I have so much celosia in my garden, y'all. I don't need more. And celosia is just one of those plants that reseeds itself readily throughout the space. And so we're going to pull this out. And I have some zinnias that I started from seed inside a few weeks back. And we're going to go ahead and get those planted up into this garden. And I think there's enough days. I've got about 7 weeks left before my first frost. So I think I might get some blooms on them. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and give it a try and see how it does. But is there anything more satisfying than pulling up plants like this and them just coming so easily out of the soil? Oh, I love it. There's a few sad little seedlings in here. Sunflower seedlings. I'll leave them in place. So I'm just going to leave a few of those in place at this point. But yeah, I had planted this whole bed and they just got demolished. I think it was grasshoppers that were the issue. Okay, so I've got some seedlings that I just started indoors not long ago. This first one is just a blend of cut and come again zinnias. This other one right here is Zinnia sonora. And typically when I would plant zinnias, I would go in and I would pinch all of them. But if I do that right now, I'm going to be setting them back a couple of weeks. I don't want to do that. So we're going to leave them as is. Just loosening up some of the soil, moving it around. We're just going to leave them as is at this point in time. And the soil is nice and soft because of the rain. And I'm going to come in with biotone. And I'm going to run the biotone all along where the drip lines are because that's where I'm going to be planting my zinnias. Now, when it comes time to plant ranunculus, I don't think I'm going to put them in this bed again. I think I'm going to put my delphinium in this bed. But when the time comes to plant in my cool flowers, well, I don't know. Maybe nothing will get planted in this bed because these ranunculus are going to be here for a little while. Or these zinnias are going to be here for a little while. So I don't know if I have time to really get any plants established out here. before our first freeze. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out all of my little seedlings. Now zinnias don't like to have their roots messed around with, so I'm not going to tease these roots. I'm just going to pop them straight into the ground, try to mess with the roots as little as possible. And that's all I'm going to do, just pop them in just like that. All right, let's get this other set in. Okay, and even though we got a lot of rain this morning, I do still want to go in and water these. And these are set up on a drip, and they get 20 minutes every other day. And watering after planting seedling is just a really big help of working out any air pockets that can cause the seedling to dry out quicker. Really just helps settle the soil out. All right, sweet. It'll be interesting to see if these will be able to have enough time to produce. Okay, we do have some harvesting to do over here. These are my Listata degandia eggplants, and they have gotten so heavy with the eggplant fruit that they're breaking, which is unfortunate. I should have been paying more attention. And with the addition of the rain this morning, that just really put these over the edge. So they've fallen over. And I don't know if there's enough time to for them to produce again at this point. But this whole plant has fallen forward. So I think I'm actually going to turn the whole thing around, see if that helps. I've gotten rotten eggplant back here as well. Oh, I don't know if I can turn it all the way around. Let me get a stake and see if that'll help. Yeah, this has just grown out so far. Okay, that helps a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. There's 4 eggplants on that one. These eggplants have just gone crazy, and I have loved them. I will definitely be growing them next year. And I also think next year I'm going to have some kind of staking system in them, especially if I grow them in a pot like this, just so that I can keep them upright. Another one. And I like to use these for roasted vegetable soup, which I will do this next week. And I do have people ask me for like recipes and stuff. I'm not a recipe person. I'm a technique person. So I just learned some basic techniques like roasting vegetables, seasoning them, and pureeing them into a soup. So I just kind of learned things like that, and that works well for me. I see some peppers back here. Jalapeno peppers. Yeah, these have been super fun to grow. I'm going to grow them again. They're fabulous. Okay, I also have some planted in the raised beds, and some of them have gotten overly large like that. This guy is like rotting. Yeah, we're just going to leave him. Not stressed about it. These that are overly ripe will have to be used very quickly. Okay, right here on the back porch, I have some lilac bell peppers. These have been very small bell peppers, still good. I'll use them in the same roasted vegetable soup. But you can see I've left the fruit a little long, and now it's taking down the whole plant. It's fine. These have done a great job producing this season. I've enjoyed them. Like I said, I'm not sure that I'm going to grow this particular variety again, but it has been fun. I'm always just looking for the optimal variety. Minimal work, minimal pest and disease issues. Okay, and we've got several new fruits started on here. They're the lighter color right there. So that'll be fun watching those come along. Okay, and how beautiful is all of that? Beautiful harvest. These will all be great. I do use some of the jalapenos in my soup. Those are Jedi jalapenos, Listata de Gandia, eggplant, and lilac bell peppers. Very, very pretty. Okay, I'm excited. So in the past, for years, I have started pre-sprouting my ranunculus in like January, February, sometimes later, planting them out into my garden in the spring and not getting very many blooms at all because it gets so hot here so quick. And ranunculus are cool flowers. They do not like the heat. So last summer, I guess last beginning of fall, I decided that I was going to pre-sprout my ranunculus and plant them out during the fall, allowing them to grow through the winter and then give me blooms in the spring. And they did fantastic. And I really, really enjoyed the whole process. Now, ranunculus corms cannot handle freezing temps. So that is something you have to remember depending on what area you live in. I keep a cover, a frost cloth over mine, and then I also make sure I had drip set up to make sure that they have water throughout the season. And then if we had any really cold temps, I went out there and made sure that they were covered. One time I had Christmas lights ran through them, just incandescent Christmas lights for a little bit of warmth. And they held up great and did good. So we're going to try that process again. Now, I mix up my ranunculus corms all the time, and I know it drives people insane. I do have some new ones that I'm going to be adding this year. The first variety is called ranunculus salmon. And we've got our little baby corns here. Let me bring y'all in close so you can better see them. All right, right now we're getting ready to we're going to soak them first, and then we'll get them set up for pre-sprouting. They should at least double in size, so they're very dry right now. So there's the salmon, and this is another bag of salmon. And you can order them. I've ordered them on Eden Brothers. These particular varieties I've got right here, I ordered from Etsy. I can't remember, this one is not labeled, but I'll go ahead and put the name on it as well. Okay, then I'm going to be adding my old ranunculus corms. And these are ones straight out of my garden. These do still have quite a bit of soil clinging to them, but it's totally fine. And these are the ones that I harvested after they had finished blooming and died back when we had our heat. And then now I brought them inside to save them, and now we will get them going again. Now what I like to do is fill it with water. These typically need to soak about 3 to 4 hours. And for me, I like to fill them with water, and then I like to come in, set my alarm for every 30 minutes and come in and change out the water. And that works really, really, really well. I probably should move this to the sink first. Let me get that done. Okay, so you might be asking, Amanda, why? Why are you changing out the water every 30 minutes? Well, everybody says that oxygenation, or the amount of oxygen moving through the water, is what really helps the ranunculus plump up really, really well. I don't know. It's not very hard to do, so I don't really stress about it. I know gardeners who have a whole thing for oxygenation. They use like a stuff that you would use for like a fish tank, a pump for a fish tank. And then I have seen other gardeners who do nothing, just put them in the thing of water and don't even stress about it. So whatever works for you is totally fine. Let me show you also another thing that I like to do, where I just like to let the water dribble in. Okay, so I also do this where I just have the water just dribbling in, and that oxygenates it as well. See if we can get it a little bit less. We don't need a ton. Just need just a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit less. And just like that, and that oxygenates, adds oxygen to the water, keeps supplying new oxygen in. All right, and so we're going to let these soak about 3 to 4 hours, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so my ranunculus have been soaking for about 3 hours. And what we want to do is, now they need a nice, dark, cool space to begin sprouting in, and that is going to be soil. So let's go ahead and get this prepared. Basically what I want to do is start with just a thin layer of soil at the base. The soil I'm using is my favorite Burger B7 soil that I get from Homegrown Plants in Farmersville. And I've had a lot of people ask me, where else can I buy it? I don't know where else you can buy it. I see it at local nurseries all the time, but the nurseries are using it, and it's not available to customers. Basically, Homegrown is the only place that I know of where you can get it, even if you're not like an actual wholesaler or something. Let me bring y'all in closer to see the ranunculus corns. Okay, so we've got our ranunculus corns, and they have definitely swelled up and gotten larger. Look how plump and happy they are. Let me see if I can find some of those original ones at the bottom, so you can see. Awesome. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to nestle these down, not touching, but pretty close to one another. I'm really hoping to just get this all in one tray. I really don't want a second tray if I don't have to have a second tray, but we'll see. And I am using dry soil. That's because these are already moist from the soaking process. So they are good to go. And I will monitor the soil as these continue to pre-sprout under the soil. I'll monitor it and I'll spray it down and add water as needed. And you can see that the ones that I harvest myself are not just nearly as refined. I just kind of cut them and I leave a little bit of the stem at the top just so it's like easier to see like what's the top and what's not. All we're doing is we're nestling them down with the little octopus legs sticking down into the soil. And I don't separate out my varieties or anything like that. I just do them all together. Makes my life a little easier. You can see like the nice neat ones that I got versus mine. It's fine. They'll both do great. And truthfully, even if these are on their side or upside down, they will right themselves. Like the plant knows which direction to grow. So it will grow up. Give me a little bit of a tight squeeze to get them all in here. I think I can manage. All right, that looks great. Love it. Okay, and then at this point, what we want to do is we just want to come in and sprinkle the soil across the top, getting rid of any large clumps, breaking those up. Give me a little tap just to settle the soil a little bit, and a little bit of firming it up a little bit, just like that. Okay, so takes these a couple of weeks to pre-sprout in the trays, and then once those are pre-sprouted, I will be planting them out into the garden. I did not add any fertilizer at this point in time. When I plant them out into my actual raised beds, I'll add fertilizer at that point. And one thing that I like to do is I don't like to come in and just put a lid completely on it. I like to just have it a little bit off kilter, so it's not like sealed in. I just a little bit of airflow, because I don't want things to mold in here. We don't want the soil to be overly wet. We don't want the ranunculus corms to be overly wet, because they are susceptible to rot. So super important. And basically I'll just leave them here on this table, and I'll check on them on a daily basis. I'll check and see if the soil is feeling dry. And basically the way I do that is I just come in, usually come to the side, which is more likely to be really dry, and I'll just pull up a ranunculus and I'll see if it feels moist. And then if I'm not sure, I'll go to the center and pull up a ranunculus and see if it still feels moist. If it feels moist, we're good. If it doesn't, then I'll just use a sprayer, like a mister, and I'll add some more water to there and allow it to soak that up. All right, so once these are sprouting in a couple of weeks, so probably the first or second week in October, we will go ahead and get them planted outside. That will give them approximately 4 to 6 weeks to be able to get established in the beds before my first frost. And I will take you through that process. I'll give you updates on the ranunculus, and I'll show you as I'm getting them planted up. And I will show you as I continue throughout the winter when I need to cover them and different things along those lines. But really excited to go ahead and get these started for new blooms in the spring. I can't believe we're already here at this point in time. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, seeing me go out and plant out a few more zinnia seedlings to see if I can get a little bit more blooms before my first frost, which is mid-November, and harvesting some eggplant, jalapeno peppers, and lilac bell peppers. That was really fun. And then of course, pre-sprouting or getting my ranunculus corms soaked and getting them set up for pre-sprouting in the next couple of weeks, which will be very exciting. Things are going to start moving pretty quickly in my fall garden. Less about planting things to harvest during the fall, more about being able to plant things to be harvested in the spring. So we've got iris rhizomes, we've got daffodil bulbs, we've got cool flower seedlings. We need to trim the willow. There's a lot of different things that need to be done over the next 6 weeks before the first frost. So very, very exciting. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below, letting me know that you made it to the end of the video and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.